again, you're tuning into the Frontier Virtual Cast. Today we are moving on to episode 2. If you don't know, you can check us out at frontiervirtualairlinesif.weebly.com or on our Instagram page at instagram.com/frontierva. If you'd like to join us, you can find us on our website. Just go to the application form. For more information, you can search us on the Infinite Flight Community Forum, where we do weekly events. And we do have most of our major announcements and any information we need to get out to you guys. Joining me today in the Frontier studio is my co-host, Matt. How you doing today, Matt?
I'm doing quite well.
Good to know. How's the Super Bowl party at your home?
Well, just eating nachos, playing Infinite Flight. I'm not a big football fan, so sitting here playing.
Super Bowl's been my life, especially the last one. Go Broncos.
You have no life.
All right. We're going to dive right in today. Again, thank you if you're tuning in. We do appreciate the support that this podcast has been receiving. It means a lot. We do put a lot of effort and time into these episodes, and especially our YouTuber, TechNam2TA, who's, again, an amazing guy, being able to put all this stuff together. That's mumbo-jumbo to me. I'm very techno-impaired. All right. Today, we're going to start off the episode by answering some community questions that you guys have proposed to us. And I do apologize we didn't get to it in the last episode. We had so much to cover. I didn't even get to all the stuff I wanted to get covered. But for your sake and time, we decided to leave that out until this episode. We're going to start off by answering Delta CRJ's questions that he did have for us. What prompted you to start an airline? Again, if you were here for the last episode, you would have heard that I didn't actually start Frontier VA. That was all respect goes to SK28 if he ever hears this. He's the reason Frontier VA is around. So what prompted me was being able to work with somebody like him, and I always feel bad that he's gone now, but it's always been it's been great because it brings us together as a family, and I believe that's one of the reasons. Again, we're an amazing airline even without him. So that's what keeping me in the line to run this airline is. You want to answer your side, Matt?
Well, like I said in the last podcast, I was invited in by Robert here, so I'm not really sure if I'm qualified to answer that question, being that I'm not the one who was there during the beginning of its stage.
Well,
in development.
It was in development, but it was really because of you that I think the actual kickoff of the airline began. So you could say you helped start it.
True.
At least started. You helped start it, get some recognition. I'll give you that. Next question, and I am moving kind of through these fast because there are a good amount of them, and I want to be able to discuss the global updates stuff. Not the actual update. No one freak out. But the update teasers that were released, I believe like a week ago or something. So I'm going to move through these questions kind of fast. The next one is, how did you find someone you could trust to run the airline? The answer, it was hard. I never told Matt this, but I've actually been through 3 other co-CEOs before I got to him. The first 2 lasted about 2 days. The one after that went inactive. He used to be IFATC as well. And then I found the absolutely wonderful Matt. So, and he has his issues.
I found you actually, but
yeah, you found me. I think it was what was it like during one of the events or something?
Yeah, it was some lame event.
It was a lame event. So that's how we kind of got to know each other, was through the Frontier events, and after that he just sort of. I mean, I did give him the role of co-CEO, but he sort of just assumed it with, natural. He's born for this role. And I guess you could say that, Matt, that since you're not technically running the airline, you don't have an answer for that as well. But if you wanted to put your input there, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, what do I do? That's a good question.
You make the dirty jokes and you keep the slack from not being PG. I'll give you that.
You're welcome, guys. It makes it much more entertaining. It's like the IFATC Slack.
Yeah, we should also give credit to Derposaurus, who's also Matt, but I want to keep his Frontier name because having two Matts is always confusing. He helped bring in some of the more fun part of our VA. So it is not just staff related. Pilots bring in all the fun as well. The next question, what plans do you have for Global? I'm going to have to pass that one by simply because I am not ready to release any of the stuff we have. That it's going to be released on the day or within a week when the actual Global is out, to kind of help buff up the surprise. We're going to move on to Mix 56 Awesome. He's actually been a participant of our Frontier events since the beginning. So thank you so much for attending, I believe, almost every event except for some when you had to back out. But his first question is, how much work did you put into the airline? And I can tell you, running an airline is not easy. When I first started, even with 5 pilots, and this was before Matt was here also, before 5 pilots, and it was just myself. I was working every day. I was working when I had spare time, getting all the sort of the routes that we had, making sure the pilots were happy. So so anybody who is looking to create an airline, I will warn you, it is not easy. You have to have time. You have to have the dedication to your airline. You can't just be, I like, Air France, so I'm going to make them, and then 5 days later be like, oh, I'm going to move on. If you want to create an airline, it is hard work. Anything you wanted to add with that, Matt?
Yeah. So, Infinite Flight, Robert, he kind of made the foundation for Frontier. But what I did was, when I joined, I was the one who helped with the routes. I helped with the website. I was really the one who started organizing it, and that's when both of us kind of came together to really help this airline become what it is today.
Yeah, and it's been a blessing having him as the route manager. If you go to our website and look under routes, all those beautiful routes were all thanks to him, and a lot of the future routes, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to also be under his jurisdiction. So I look forward to seeing what he has in store for us.
Send me requests on the community forums, Captain_Matt.
Yep, and we will do our best to get that in. And now I will go on a bunny trail here and say we are creating a special program for when Global hits, that if you don't like the routes we fly, say you're London Heathrow to Tokyo Narita, you're the type that likes to fly over in Europe or Asia, we do have a special program that we are going to be releasing fully when Global hits, that you can join Frontier VA and you can fly any of these special routes and still get Frontier minutes. You can still be part of the airline. This is and you'll be able to use the 777 and Boeing 787. So we're not just sticking with Airbus here, sadly enough. But next question: what was my favorite event? I actually don't have any favorite events. Every single event that you see out on the forums is an event that I personally enjoy. That's why I, make them how I make them. So for me, every single event, if I had to choose one, like gun to my head type choose one, it would have to be, I believe it was my very first Frontier event that was celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Flightcast. And if you don't know about Flightcast, I highly, highly encourage you to go to the App Store or iTunes and download Flightcast. It is an amazing podcast. It has content that we will never be able to achieve. So if you're looking for even higher up on the ranks podcasts, I would highly recommend them. All right, and that was with the sorry, I'm blanking out here for a moment. That was with the Pictures Media, our media group for the for the Infinite Flight Olympics, which is now no longer functional, sadly. But that was a fun event, I'll give you that. We had some daring pilots try to land crosswinds with no landing gear, so it was quite entertaining. And I will address one more question before we hit the Global stuff that has been repeatedly addressed to me. And if you didn't see, it actually is answered on the community forum thread. If you just look Frontier Virtual Podcast, you'll find it there under the frequently asked questions. People have been asking me if we will be having community forums or Frontier pilots on the podcast. The answer is yes, at some point we will. I've already been talking to several Frontier pilots, and my personal favorite, we might have a real world A320 and slash A321 pilot come on to the podcast. So I'm looking forward to that. The answer there is yes, but not now. So if you do have questions, I highly suggest you check the frequently asked questions before asking them, just so we can avoid some confusion. All right, so we're going to move on to discussing a bit of global. If you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen on the forum that Global has come out with some beautiful photos that Flying Development Studios is finally letting us see. I highly recommend you go over there because it is gorgeous.
Yeah, because I mean the mountain pictures with the fog, those are just unbelievable.
Yeah, pause this podcast right now. Go over and find those photos and just marvel at them. I have to just say that my personal favorite is the one with the Dash 8 in the Denver region above the fog.
You know, I think that's everyone's favorite.
Well, maybe because of the fog. I just like it because it's Denver. I could do without the fog. But
Was it confirmed to be Denver, or are you just assuming that?
I think it was confirmed to be Denver, but you know, it's me. Maybe I'm wrong. I probably am.
Yeah, he has Denver fever.
Hey, I started Frontier. We're hubbed at Denver.
No, you co-founded Frontier.
Oh well. And if you do see another feature that's also coming out with Global is the new terrain rendering. It is going to be much more graphically beautiful than what it is now. So if you enjoy the scenery now, if you go find the Denver region or any mountainous region, and you do enjoy the scenery there, you will absolutely love what Global has to offer.
Yeah, you know, unless they have like the original iPads. In that case, I'm sorry, you need a new device.
I'm sorry. We'll direct you to the nearest electronics store and point out. So some features that have been confirmed for Global, actually, LNAV is coming out. Matt, why don't you tell us what LNAV is?
Well, LNAV is a real life plane feature where it pretty much follows the autopilot's path on its own. So it's like setting a heading, but it's on its own. And actually, Wi-Fi Connect already has that feature. So if you want a little taste of it, just go on over there and try it out.
Yeah, so that means no longer having to always pay attention to your flight plan and, you know, doing those last minute heading adjustments to keep online.
You know, I sense a lot of hours just going in and someone falling asleep with the LNAV on.
Well, if you're doing, you know, the new recently announced longest flight in the world, I believe that I think it's Qatar Airways is flying it. It's like a 17-hour flight
from Dubai to Auckland, I believe. I could be wrong.
And I did notice one of the community members said, you know, if you're flying first class, that's the best way. Otherwise, it's gonna be hell.
Yeah, I think it's his exact words were, if it's first class, then I will enjoy every moment. I mean, I probably butchered that a lot. I'm sorry, whoever posted that.
I wish that I could fly first class. That would be a
Well, yeah, none of us are that rich. You know, except maybe Laura, but...
Yeah, well, of course. Another confirmed feature is the engine start and stop, which is going to be absolutely awesome. That I think by far is going to be the one that I'm most looking forward to. We can finally turn our engines on.
You know, I wonder how they're going to implement that. Like, is there going to be a button on the HUD, or like how are they going to really work with that? That's what I'm curious to see.
Well, yeah, I think we're all curious to see, which is why, you know, it's going to be so much more exciting when Global hits, and we'll finally be able to try this out for ourselves.
You know, I would pay $10 just to play Global for 2 minutes.
I think
I would pay $10 for that. Yeah.
I would pay $10 just to sit in an airplane and look at the scenery. I wouldn't even hit the start and stop yet. I mean, that's how much I'm looking forward to the scenery here. And at least I believe one more confirmed feature is fuel consumption, and with that, you can actually tell ATC that you're low on fuel. And so
I don't believe that's confirmed yet. I'm pretty sure that is just highly likely, which is pretty much confirmed. But
yeah, I thought it was confirmed when Laura posted those photos on her Instagram. But again, this is just our speculation. Don't take it for granted. If you want to know for sure, you can go head over to the community forum where it is out in black and white, thanks to Philippe. Anything you wanted to add on expectations for global, Matt?
Well, I definitely expect it to. I mean, it's taken a long time, so I do not expect anything less than amazing. Which I already know by pictures, it's not going to be anything less than that. So
I know it is going to be beautiful.
Forward to that.
What would you say if Flying Development Studios said you could have a beta position?
I would say get out, you're lying.
Yeah, what if it was on April Fool's? That's the real question.
Then I would probably say get out, you're lying.
Yep. So that's the confirmed with global. I just wanted to touch bases on that. If you haven't, been hearing about the huge global, this is another way you can find out about it. It is going to be amazing, and there's no confirmed date. So don't bother asking FDS. They will not be able to supply you with that. And I believe we did have another question that I was going to get to quick. I do apologize if I am off track a little bit. This podcast is a little bit on the jump. Yes, the question was actually directed for Matt here. How do you put up with Infinite Flight as your CEO?
I don't. I just kind of put him on do not disturb when he's bothering me.
He puts me on mute, he means.
Yeah, but that was a joke. In all honesty, I mean, he does not really bother me that much. It's more the other way around. I mean, it's my job to keep him on his toes.
He keeps me in line.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll cut this a little bit shorter than usual for your sake. Look for the next podcast episode where we hopefully will have a community pilot member. I'm sorry, Frontier pilot. He was given a shout out in the last episode. Dyrell Martinez is going to be joining us on the next podcast. So if you have questions for him, please post them in the community forum thread of ours, and we'll hopefully get to that. This has been your Frontier Virtual Cast saying, have a great life, and thank you for tuning in.